So I want to ask you, as a man of action, how have you developed the skill of taking action over the years? I mean, where does that come from?
Well, I know what the results are, and I know that if you're not a person of action, nothing will happen. And so I've met a lot of people that kind of have that same mindset. They have all these great ideas, but they don't do anything.
Yeah,
and then they spend a lot of time sitting around complaining.
You know me well enough to know that I get almost frustrated with ideas because I know that as a general rule, like if it's you, you do it. You act on it. But a lot of people love ideas. It's almost like, the new car. You buy a new car because you get that new car smell. You buy a new house because it's the new house smell. Some people get new girlfriends, new husbands, whatever. But the point is, you shouldn't do that, but people do. They like new stuff. Let's just get new shoes, new clothes. It's always exciting when it's new. But yet we really need to act. It's not the new idea. It's just doing it, right?
Right. It is.
Because you built the world's largest tea.
Yep.
World's largest snow cone.
Almost.
World's largest iced tea.
Yep.
Tea, lemonade.
And a giant milkshake before.
Giant milkshake. But you at some point had to just do it.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about it. I want to get into your mind here. So you're talking with your staff about building the world's largest snow cone.
Right.
Do you remember that meeting?
I do.
How did that happen? How did that happen?
So it happened fast because we had a bunch of snow coming.
Huge snow coming in.
We had a huge snow coming in, and we were tired of being down in sales.
Yeah.
And for Oklahoma, it was a huge ordeal. And so we got together.
Sales were going down because there was a lot of bad weather.
Yeah, the roads kept getting shut down. Nobody could move around, and we said there's going to be another burst of snow coming through. And so we said we got to do something different. And because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And I said we're not getting results. Actually, we're getting the same results as everybody else. So what are we going to do differently? Let's make a reason for them to come out.
I'm getting pumped.
And so we decided to make the world's largest snow cone.
Yeah.
So I called a friend of mine, a guy named Josh, has Josh's Snow Shack here in Tulsa.
Real quick, Josh's Snow Shack, not exaggerating, in Tulsa that's almost tourism. There's a huge line in front of his business now. This is a crazy kid who started a snow cone shack. You got to Google this mess. Back to you.
Yep. And I called him up, said, "What do you think?" And of course, he's like me. He said, "Let's do it." So probably within an hour conversation, that's one of the big things when I'm having meetings and brainstorming session. It's pause a meeting, make the phone call.
Oh man,
let's get things rolling because
right now.
once the ball starts rolling, sometimes it's hard to stop it. Versus the person who never pushes the ball down the hill. Yeah. Now the bad part is kind of like a train is when it does derail, it derails hard. But you learn from those mistakes and you get back up and you can do it again.
But you want to take action right away.
Absolutely.
One of the things that Napoleon Hill says, my favorite success author, I'm always quoting this guy, but he said that knowledge without application is meaningless. He says that. But he says that action is the real measure of intelligence. That's his big quote. Action is the real measure of intelligence. So he's going to measure it. How intelligent are you? Do you act on it?
That's right.
And you do that. Now, what if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm watching this and I'm fearful? How do I act in spite of fear? How do you act in spite of fear?
Well, first of all, I know I'm in the right position when I'm nervous. And now that I have a bunch of these things behind me, I don't get nervous about small things. I mean, other people just wig out about the things I want to do. When we're working on a project right now with a young man trying to raise $250,000, and
love that
made me nervous.
Yeah.
But it's one of those that courage is not having fear; it's moving forward in the face of fear.
Courage is moving forward in the face of fear.
Yeah.
Okay. But you want to be a little nervous, though.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like when I'm nervous, I know that I'm heading in the right direction.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people that'll bail from that. And so how do we move forward?
I want to say this. With Thrive, when we were building the Thrive platform, you were our second venture capital investor.
Yeah.
And I'm forever grateful. But I remember that we had a young guy. I say young guy. He's a little younger than you, but older than me. But his name's Braxton Fierce. And Braxton was like, well, who's put in money? Who's put in the money? And I said, well, you got me. There's me. And then myself and I. Like the four of us, we've all put in money. And he says, well, who else? And I said, well, Arthur's going to do it. He's like, has he done it yet? I said, well, I'm going to give him the paperwork, but he'll do it. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. So he put in money. He put $100,000 into this business. And then you're like, you already were going to do it whether he was going to do it or not. But then you did it. Well, then a third guy who I'd never heard of before all of a sudden is like, well, who put in money? I said, these two guys. Well, those two guys, then I'll do it. And then boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Well, I'm telling you this, when you grow a big company like this, there's a ton of video people, there's a ton of people on the set, tons of lights, cameras, equipment. It's expensive. But once I get a little nervous, I'm like, we're just, we're going to raise $3 million. That's what we need. I mean, we're going to get David Robinson on our team. We're going to get world-class PR. We're going to have the best set, the best equipment, the best mentors. It's going to be awesome. The website's going to be great. And we're going to give away a ton of money to the winner. And I thought, what if we gave away 20 grand to the winner? That makes me nervous. Growing up poor, I mean, 20 grand is 20 grand. I mean,
it's 20 grand.
So, but I know when you get nervous, that's where it happens.
That's right.
So if you're not nervous right now, you're what? You're not.
You'll be average.
You'll be average. I'm telling you, Michael Jordan, NBA Hall of Famer. I guarantee he was nervous sometimes shooting free throws. The best ballet dancers in the world, I guarantee they're all nervous before opening night. The best singers, I guarantee when they go out on the stage, they're a little bit nervous.